Minister, welcome back to the House on another very sad occasion in our collective history. Minister, the outrage and sadness throughout the country is palpable. We have staggered from scandal to scandal over the past few years, and it has sent this country reeling, disturbed, shocked and bewildered. We are, Minister, a society in mourning. Mourning for the countless losses, the countless deaths, the unspeakable criminal cruelty committed against our very vulnerable, our women and our infants. The Tuam revelations and what is yet to be discovered could well dwarf all other scandals to date. From the Free State's inception, the ruling political powers danced to the tune of the ultra-conservative church. In drawing up our constitution, De Valera invited Archbishop Charles McQuaid to help build and compose Bunrock na Héireann, our Irish constitution. That is reflected. The Catholic teachings of particularly Charles McQuaid is very influential in our entire constitution. The New Republic had the Colini, the virgins and pure, dancing at the crossroads in this twisted notion of utopia. Our collective souls were handed over to the church to do what they wanted with the women and children, and society washed its bloody hands. Over the past 6 years, I and Sinn Féin have supported and attended the annual Flowers for Magdalene's event. It happens the nearest Sunday to International Women's Day. Through that emotional event of remembrance, I have formed ties with the Tuam Mother and Babies group and the Survivors United group. They are here today in the public gallery, and I applaud each and every one of you. Well done. They have reams of documents that require forensic investigation and lodgement with the Gardaí and the DPP for their consideration and action. Minister, I want to highlight some of the personal stories as told to me by the women and children sitting in the public gallery. They have spent a lifetime searching for their real stolen selves, a lifetime searching for their stolen babies. They have suffered as outcasts, suffered at the hands of the state, suffered at the hands of the priests and nuns, suffered in the lonely, terrifying childbirth, and suffered painful, engorged breasts with milk with no baby to nurse. Many have endured lifelong mental health issues from the scarred experience. Minister, I and the people of this country cry out and demand these horrific wrongs be recognised, be investigated and be resolved as much as we can be. For the body politic to ask the forgiveness from these women and their children. Recently, the Taoiseach, Mr Kenny, stated that the nuns didn't walk into homes to take the girls, the fallen women, to institutions. Well, Minister, maybe they didn't, but the priests did. Minister, they walked into homes, they walked into schools and workplaces across this country and across the UK in the 1940s and onwards. They established the Catholic Crusade and Rescue Society, which hunted down women, especially those who escaped from the mother and baby homes or the institutions. Terry Harrison, who's here, was one such young girl, and she escaped from Bessborough pregnant. She made it to London in the late 1970s. She was abducted from the London streets by the Catholic Crusade and Rescue Society in the guise of Father O'Hanlon, and forcibly returned via our national airline, who did it willingly countless occasions, to the more secure prison of the Navan Road. I want to also acknowledge David Kinsella. David's mother was sent to England following his birth in the Navan Road. She was told her baby would die, and off she went. Off you go, forget what happened, your baby's going to die anyhow. David suffered all his infant life malnutrition, so severe he had numerous, if not going on the hundreds, of admissions to St James's Hospital for the treatment of malnutrition. Not one doctor, nurse, nobody said, hang on, why is this kid coming in here so often, so many times a year, so small and so malnourished? It took a cleaner in St James's Hospital, Alice Kinsella, to say, I want to mind that baby. I want to be its mammy. Eventually, when David was 4.5 years of age, she became his mammy. David then went looking for his own birth mother. By the time the HSE eventually, years later, relented and gave him the information he needed, his mammy Alice had died, believing that she had no children, that her baby itself had died back in Navan Road Institution. David is precious about the one thing that he has from his mammy, and that is his name, David. Minister, I welcome the decision to publish the second interim report of the Commission investigation to the mother and baby homes. Although home, I think you will agree, is a gross misnomer for these locked up places of dark, bleak confinement. I and our women and children here demand that they be involved in the expansion of the terms of reference into mother and baby homes. And particularly we need to include a forensic auditing of the accounts. I've been given documents by Anna Corrigan of the Tuam Baby Group, which categorically show that many women and children upkeep, another misnomer, was triply paid for by the state, by parents and by the recipients of stolen babies. There is also clear and unequivocal evidence that mothers and babies were kept in the institutions for prolonged periods despite being fit for release for financial gains for that institution. Also, the books show girls and babies long gone from the institution remaining on the books for extended financial payments. I know the Bon Secours have given great medical service to this country. I also know the Bon Secours made 3 million last year in profits, and overall in the last decade have made just under 100 million in profits. These need to be given back to these people, to the Irish people and to our women and children that were so dreadfully treated. Minister, I have for years requested from the HSE as a nurse and as a counsellor for them to collate a list of the long-term residents in psychiatric backwards. They were taken when they were no longer useful as slaves. They were thrown into psychiatry and they lived their lives out there hidden and unheard. Many of them had their babies stolen. The high mortality rate of babies is 25% in the 1950s, 5 times higher than in the community. This needs investigation. Why was it? Was it medical neglect? Yes, it was. Was it withholding of essential medicine on the grounds of cost? Yes, it was. Was it cruelty for what was considered second-class, third-class citizens? As a nurse, this disturbs me to the core. It is obscene and appalling. We need to investigate the trafficking of babies. The documents in the Tuam archive have correspondence from senior church clergy requesting babies be made available for adoption for sale. Subsequently, babies of up to 3 years of age were removed from their mothers and sold, many to the US, not knowing anything of their history. Minister, we do not know who was involved in this horrific scandal. There were doctors, social workers and nurses. Are they still working? Are they still in the caring sector? This needs immediate addressing. I must owe empathy and respect for everybody gathered here today. I stand in this chamber to salute them with love and compassion, the fierce determination of the women and the children in the public gallery. They deserve our unconditional apologies. Well done to you all. You are heard and we will ensure that you are continued to be heard. You deserve to stand cherished among us as equals. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Senator Devine. Thank you.